Code in motion, the software architecture of modern robotics. The machine is steel and hydraulics. The blueprint is JSON joint states, REST API calls, and inverse kinematics functions. This video maps how computation becomes physical autonomy. Theory today, live robot control in a follow-up. The bidirectional bridge. Software cannot touch the physical world directly. Data flows in. Physical property to analog transducer to ADC to software read sensor data. Commands flow out. Send actuator command to DAC to motor driver to physical effect. If hardware contains the full chain, it is a complete smart device. Incomplete hardware stops at raw registers. Good APIs hide that behind clean abstractions. Complete versus incomplete hardware. A complete sensor exposes temperature equals get temperature, one line. Incomplete reality requires thermistor circuits, ADC chips, voltage conversion at 3.3 times 1/1024, and register reads at hex 42. Modern robot software rides on abstraction layers, so application developers never touch the data sheet until something breaks at 2 a.m. The anatomy of a robot's brain, 4 layers. Hardware and OS provide drivers, multitasking, memory, networking. Generic services add web servers and databases. Up to layer 2, a robot is just a computer. The robot base layer adds navigation, sensor fusion, and physical models. The application layer executes task-specific logic. Translation from bits to motion happens entirely in those top 2 layers. Defining the application boundary, where does the chef live? In a structured kitchen, logic sits 100% in the application layer. Move to stove, pour batter, flip pancake. The base layer only handles raw movement. In an unstructured, messy kitchen, a chef AI reasons about object recognition while the base layer supplies generalized physical intelligence, recognize spatula, compute inverse kinematics. Environment structure dictates where intelligence belongs. The matrix of mind and body. Map the horizontal physical loop, sensor sense, plan act actuator against the vertical software stack. Computer vision lives at base layer sense. Navigation logic at base layer plan. Task execution loop at application plan. ADC converter at hardware sensor. Motor drivers at hardware act. Components have addresses in this grid. Architecture is not accidental placement. 3 avatars of robot software. Manipulators, fixed base, local manipulation within a bounded workspace. Mobile robots, floating base environmental navigation across infinite theoretical space. Mobile manipulators, floating base plus arm, combinatoric complexity with an infinite workspace. Software architectures adapt entirely to movement, physical space, and the API commands each form requires. Manipulators move the world. Core API, robot.move with a pose, position plus orientation. Inverse kinematics computes joint paths. The mechanically natural point-to-point path is rarely a straight line in human space. Fixed base, bounded reach TCP at the tool center point. Stationary power, focused on precision manipulation. Mobile robots move themselves. Core API, robot.navigate with a pose. Floating base, infinite workspace in theory. Software shifts from joint articulation to pathfinding and collision avoidance. A straight line from a to be collides. A center line through a doorway fails when the robot footprint hits the wall. Valid routes account for the full rectangular body, not just the center point. Payload versus system. A camera on a remote-controlled drone is cargo. Data flows outward to a human operator. The same camera on an autonomous drone feeds an internal sense layer on the drone's CPU, driving collision avoidance motors. A component is part of the robot only when its data closes the internal sense plan act loop. Otherwise, it is payload you carry, not intelligence you embed. The geometry of navigation. Valid pose, geometrically possible on a supporting surface. Reachable pose, a collision-free path exists from here. Point A is valid and reachable. Point B floats in air, invalid for a ground robot. Point C sits on the other side of a wall, valid but unreachable. Navigation planners must distinguish all three, not just compute straight-line distance. Mobile manipulators, the infinite workspace. Mode 1, independent successive APIs, navigate first with the arm as payload, then move the arm. Mode 2, coupled simultaneous control, wheel velocity and joint angles computed together as whole body control. Combining floating base with manipulator multiplies combinatoric complexity exponentially. Unified APIs link navigation and manipulation seamlessly. The robot topology matrix. Manipulator, fixed base move pose API bounded workspace moves objects, pancake chef. Mobile robot, floating base navigate pose API infinite workspace moves self, autonomous steamroller. Mobile manipulator, floating base coupled API infinite workspace unrestricted interaction warehouse fetcher. Diagnostic framework, anchor API workspace purpose real-world example. Universal templates with AER architecture. Whether industrial behemoth or desktop DIY servo project, foundational software layers stay identical. AER United, AER Industrial, AER Mobile, AER Drone, AER Gnome, specialized templates over one universal core. Robot.move target pose works at both scales. Abstraction frees developers from hardware specifics without hiding topological truth. Architecture dictates autonomy. Master the vertical stack, abstract raw hardware, understand topological boundaries, and software engineers systematically command the physical world. Manipulator controller.move to takes a pose, reads current state, converts to joint angles, sends motor commands. JSON joint arrays flow from digital intent to physical motion. The blueprint is the robot, the code is the will. That is architecting autonomy in theory. Bridges, layers, topologies, and APIs from sensor to actuator. In the next video, I will demo live robot control across manipulator, mobile, and coupled systems. This episode stayed architectural on purpose. Subscribe to Life of Geeks, comment robot for updates, and scan the QR code for the channel.